Evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, September 30th. I call the Marlboro Public School Committee meeting to order, and we are taped live and streamed live. Thank you to WMCT-TV. If I can have everyone rise so we can have the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you much. We shall dive right into the superintendent's reports.
Great. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Good to see all of you. Nice to be together. We have quite a few items underneath my report this evening, but we are going to start with a district communications update. We know that strong communication is paramount in any organization, but especially in education, where so many people, programs, and services are involved. To deepen and strengthen the connection between Marlboro Public Schools, our district community, and the city overall, we have developed a multifaceted communications plan. This plan supports both the day-to-day operations of the district and the sharing of the long-term vision for our future. I've asked our district communications coordinator, Esmer Silva, to join us this evening and review our plan together. Ms. Silva?
Yes. Hi, good evening, everyone. I do have some, apologies.
No, we just want to make sure the green light is on.
Okay.
That's all. Thank you.
If you could pass. Sure. Show and tell. So I just wanted to kind of give you a few updates about what our meeting communications plan is for this school year and what we've been working on. I don't have a clicker here, but if we could go to the next slide. As you know, I came on at the end of the last school year, and so one of my focuses since I've been here has been kind of helping brand our district, right? So we've been focusing on covering events and just initiatives that we have throughout the school district, and kind of giving people an idea of who we are as Marlboro Public Schools, so people can see our students and our staff in action when they visit our website, when they visit our social media, any printed material, any assets that we have. That is from something as simple as our email signature to some of a promotional item that I'll be speaking of later. So one of the things that we've been focusing on is getting our social media and our website more updated about what's going on in our schools and our classrooms and beyond. And we are trying to make sure that all the content that we have, whether it's printed, social, website, anything like that, is calling to action our audience. And that can be current students, prospective families, prospective employees, right? So we want to make sure that we're engaging them, that we're promoting our current initiatives, that we're motivating them to like, share, repost something, and then educating them. One of the things that I did when I came on was meet with our district leaders, our building principals, and kind of figure out from their perspective what our families or our community are hearing. And what I found is that we are a hidden gem. People don't know all the offerings and the programs that we have, and so that is one thing that we've been focusing on, or we will be focusing on. So if you could go to the next slide, please. That starts with something as simple as the way that we communicate with our families and our students, and again, our staff and prospective community members. So we want to make sure that people know that we are transforming education, that we're inspirational, that we're professional, and that we're optimistic in any kind of, again, creative asset that we have. And so people can see that when they go to our website, when they visit our social media, when we distribute materials, so people know, okay, who are we? It is a very lofty tagline, but we want to make sure that people know that we're actually keeping up with that tagline, that we are transforming education. So again, just giving ourselves some kind of metrics and like a measuring stick when we do we have a lot of channels and a lot of platforms where we distribute our information. And we want to make sure that our students and our family and our staff know where to go to find which information, right? So again, we have our Facebook and Instagram are usually our more visited platforms, but we also want to make sure that people know that our website and our app are where they can find those news and important alerts and updates, especially from the crisis communication point of view, right? So if you're familiar with ThrillShare, that's kind of where we send all our emails and our texts. So we are doing a lot of behind the scenes work on that. So we want to make sure that people know, our families and our students know where to go to get which information. And we have been focusing a little bit more on that visual aspect. So we're doing some videos and we're doing high quality photos, which our families and our students are really resonating with. As you can see, for the past 30 days, they've really enjoyed the first day of school. Who doesn't love that? And then the NHS induction did really well on our social media platforms. And again, Facebook and Instagram are where we find that a lot of our audience is, but we're also trying to grow our Indeed platform and some of like the website and things like that. But as you can see, people are connecting with those visual markers. So with that being said, we have more visual content that is coming. If you go to the next slide, please. So one of the things that we just started is our Super Saturday series. So we have that one anchored by our interim superintendent, and then we'll have guest speakers on there on a monthly series. So that one, the first episode just launched on September 20th, and we are sharing that out with our audience. We also started our district newsletter, so that will be going on a monthly basis, and that one's going to all families, students, and staff. And for our principals, this year we are starting a new initiative where every Friday they'll be sending out building updates to their students and their families so that they know what to expect. So we're building strategic communications plan across the entire district, so we're all kind of on the same page. And we're also, again, people don't know all the offerings we have. So one of the initiatives we're doing is making sure that people know that we have many more career pathways and educational programs that they're aware of. So what we'll be doing this month, is working on a promotional mailer to let people know that Marlboro High School is the place to be. And so that is what you have as part of your packet. It's going to show statistics about how our students do as far as academic success, what kind of clubs, activities they can expect, coursework, where students end up. So families that aren't sure whether they want to send their kids here, they can get a more inside look on that. And then students as well, they can see, oh, okay, I'm in 7th grade, 8th grade, what does a high school have to offer? So this one's specifically for MHS, and we're using the tagline Choose MHS, which, our principal can speak a little bit more about that later. On top of that, we'll also be having coffee and conversation events so that people can come meet not only our high school principal, but also our middle school principal throughout the city. So we've scheduled 2 events at the public library, and more information will be forthcoming about that. So we can meet people where they are. We'll have, of course, interpreters, and we'll have some light refreshments, but people can kind of talk more on a one-to-one level with our principals and our staff and find out what we have to offer to them. And of course, I will be continuing to provide training and support for our principals and our district leaders, and kind of finding any gaps where I may be able to step in, take something off their plate, or figure out maybe we haven't been doing something in a strategic manner where I can give them more support. So those are some of the bigger initiatives that we've been working on, I'm happy to answer any questions or provide more information regarding our communications plan.
Okay, thank you. Good?
Yeah.
Communications gal.
Thank you. Great to hear all the things that are going on. I would love it if you could actually make sure that we can get the slides, so we can see that and
Okay.
Go through it a little bit. Can I get you to click back a little bit so I can do some reminders and stuff? I was looking at, so right there on the Super Saturday, is that getting pushed out through our website as well as the social? How is that kind of getting pushed out?
Yes, so it'll be included in the newsletter that we're sending out tomorrow in the Panther Nation Connection.
Okay.
And then that's posted on the website as well. We shared it on our Facebook, and so I did. We're partnering with WMCT-TV with that. So they actually gave me some feedback about how to kind of boost the engagement on that. So we'll definitely be looking to share out more now that we're getting it going. But yeah, it'll be shared tomorrow in the newsletter,
Awesome.
and that one goes to all families and all students.
Great. And then principal updates. Are you going to be able to provide them with some structure? And maybe you are, so that we have, because one of the things we've talked about in the past is that sometimes each of the different schools all kind of had like different looks and different kind of things, which is great in some respects, but I also have to say is really hard in other respects. So I'm wondering if you're going to be able to help to provide maybe a little bit more context so that they can work within and it looks a little bit more branded.
Okay, we did give an outline. That is something that I want to explore a little further about the branding aspect, because there are different newsletter platforms, but they do have a basic outline of the things that we expect them to send. So important updates, a link to our backpack mail, a principal message. So there's some guidelines that we have, but not necessarily a look yet. So that is something we can work on for sure.
Probably just would be helpful so that we're starting to move everyone through the pipeline, like kind of in the same way,
Okay.
Of expectations.
Yeah.
And then, oh God, there was one more. Sorry, went in and out of my head really quickly, so someone else can jump in.
I just have a question.
Thank you.
And you can hop back in. The backpack mail.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have data on whether or not people actually read it?
So I'm sure we can get that from the website. I can definitely speak to our
I don't
web
really
admin.
need it myself.
Okay.
I just anecdotally, I talk to parents and they have no idea it even exists.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. What? They will now. They will now. Hopefully they will now.
Yes.
But I just know, as someone who runs an organization that's adjacent to but outside the district, whenever we wanted to push stuff out back in the day, we used to print it out and stick it in their backpacks. Right. And when we went to an all virtual platform, no one ever saw it again. And so I'm just curious, how we can, if that is going to be continued as a form of communication about other community events or things that might not be appropriate for a principal to be talking about, but still is appropriate to get out to families, that we have a mechanism for doing that people actually utilize.
So there is a link to that in the Panther Nation connection.
Okay.
So at the end of the newsletter, there's a little a hyperlink that the parents can click to get direct access to that information.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, we don't get analytics from how many people visit the link for that. That would be, again, with those newsletter platforms, if that is something we want to invest in, there are where that's trackable. But we can certainly look at how many people are going to the website. That should be something we can get analytics on. I will say something that I've been doing since I've taken over our social media channels is I won't post individual flyers, but I have said, hey, a break is coming up. There's programs, check out our backpack mail. And that has gotten some traction on our social media. So I can certainly boost that a little bit more. So
Thank you.
Got it.
Yeah, well, that's, you reminded me. Thank you. That's what I was going for. I just was thinking about like CPAC. So some of our other groups, it may be good if we can help to make those connections with you so that we can help on pushing out some of the, some of those different groups like CPAC or, you know, timing things with the all sports boosters or there's like the music association, yeah, and the PTO pages and things like that to, again, make sure that you have an awareness and then you can help push just like they can help push.
Right.
So maybe that's something to try and make sure that there's some coordination with that. Just because they're important pages, but you also need to know about them and can't if you're not provided the right information, so.
Sure. Yes, and one thing it's on the presentation, but I just want to note it, is that I did help our athletic director start an Instagram page. So now I know our boosters have one, but he will be able to provide updates and if there's cancellations and stuff. And so, and also we worked on getting him like the thrills share and stuff. So those are posted on the website as well. Like if there's a game coming up on the high school website on the live feed. So we've kind of like trying to be more strategic about, because there are a lot of groups and events happening. So we are trying to provide that training and support for more leaders to do that on their own. Yeah, you're welcome.
We're good? I think we're all set. Thank you
Okay.
for the update.
Thank you.
Thanks.
In the draft of the Marlboro High School mailer is in front of you, so when you have a few moments and you want to flip through it, if you have any thoughts or ideas, certainly would welcome any suggestions you might have before we send this out toward the middle of the month. Okay.
So who is it going to? Every household?
Yes,
In the city?
We're gonna work with the city side and get the master list of addresses. I think it's a kind of multi-faceted. We want it to be a point of pride for families who are there or families that had kids there. Also, a great recruitment tool to share with our current families and families maybe who left and might be interested in seeing what we're doing. So we're looking at what is the feasibility of doing a citywide mailing. To really showcase the work that we're doing at the high school.
Great, thanks.
Okay. And speaking of the high school, we are joined this evening by our high school principal, Mr. Serpina. As we continue strengthening college and career and workforce readiness at the high school, we are looking to expand both our career pathway options and our internship opportunities. While our current offerings provide a strong foundation, we do not want to stop where we are. Broadening these opportunities will benefit students directly, strengthen our high school's recruitment and retention efforts, and support the community by helping establish early stages of career pathways and pipelines. So I've asked Mr. Serpina to join us this evening and talk a little bit about how we can expand our current career pathways position, and through that, opportunities to also our middle school students. So, Steve, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. So as Dr. DeFalco said, we're really looking to expand, increase our career, school experience opportunities we have at the high school. In order to really do that, we're looking to expand that position, which is currently a part-time position. So in your packet, you should have our roadmap that we created, a scope and sequence, and a job description, kind of how I envision that program moving forward. So really, for me, the priority areas are to create a bridge between the middle school and the high school, to increase our internship opportunities and our college and career readiness opportunities. We now, DESE has an expectation that MyCap is in place, and that can be a really great tool. I know that there was folks in the district that got trained on it last year, but we didn't really have the capacity to fully implement it, which is something we really want to do. And if you look at the roadmap, where it says, launch and foundation, that would kind of be the basis of how we start this. We'd be able to 100% implement MyCap and Naviance in the middle school and the high school. And we really feel like this is our opportunity to kind of create that relationship between the two schools and really make sure that we're offering what the students are interested in, what they want, what they need. This would allow us to really take a dive deep in data to track everything that's going on, be it internships, be it college and career readiness experiences. So that's really the foundation of this. We'd look at career exploration, foundation, surveys, careers, speakers. We have some planned already for this year, but we really want to amp this up. I know we've already had to turn down some internship opportunities from outside companies because we don't have the capacity to do it. I want this program to be one where the person running the program is doing site visits and internships, is really has an eye on those. And I want this to also include things like resume development, interview skills, all those things that students need regardless of the track they're going to take when they graduate from Marlboro High School. And I've been talking a lot about the different pathways we currently offer, and we do. We have a lot of things we offer. We had an open house the other night, and the amount of parents I heard say, I didn't know Marlboro High School offered this, which was, I was hoping that was going to happen. This is something that's really important to us. The community partnership piece, I just look at a program like our EMT internship. It's an unbelievable program. I've met multiple EMTs in the city this summer. Every single one I've met went through that program. And we have the opportunity to really create those types of internships for our students. And I think when we look at things like MyCap, college and career readiness, internships, what we're doing is really encapsulating 3 different robust pathways we can provide for our students. And I think that makes us even more competitive. And I think that makes us stand out even more than we already do. We'd be able to measure success better. We'd be able to create a data system that measured the success of the different programs. And again, this would be something that would be a very big focus on. Of course, this was kind of our first crack at it, so there's certainly some things would be, they would move around a little bit. We'd be able to measure employee satisfactions. We'd be able to measure post-grad outcomes in what and where the students are going. So I think that's really kind of the basis of it. I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of different people, and I think where we are right now is I think we have a really good start. But I think if we really want to get to where we need to be and where we should be, we need that capacity to be able to do all this. And if you were able to, in the job description that I created, there's a lot there. There's a lot in that job description, and I think that it's all very doable if given the capacity to kind of put that time into this program. We have students right now ready to go. We have our internships that are getting up and running. We have some students going to the elementary schools. We have a student going to the middle school. We have students going through Boys Club, Girls Club, Y. So we have things that are starting to get up and running. We already have an internship with Technium, but when we get phone calls from a bank in town, we're like, we just can't, right now we can't do that. So I think that's huge. And I do think that coupling kind of that piece with the college and career to be able to build in those skills, those developmental skills for the students in terms of interview skills. And I know these kids worked really hard. They all had interviews for their internships that were virtual. They sat down, they were able to kind of prep and plan and know what they were kind of getting into, from what you should wear to, how you should present yourself. And I think, using also the MyCap and having career fairs are a huge experience for these students. We do our reality fair, October 21st. We do our reality fair, but for this position, these can be things that are ongoing in the school. And I think the more exposure we get our students to the college application process and what colleges offer, internships, and kind of how all that can tie together, I think this could be an absolutely incredible program, looking to be an innovation school. I think we have the pieces there. We just need that next step.
Thank you. Yes.
I thank you for your presentation. It sounds so exciting. I just have one question. I've heard of Naviance before, but can you tell me a little bit more about what MyCap is? I'm not familiar with that one.
So, MyCap is it's similar to Naviance, but it's embedded with a lot of interest surveys, with a lot of ways that students can express what interests them, and MyCap kind of puts all that together, where Naviance does that too, but Naviance is really geared towards college versus MyCap is geared towards both, and it just so happens that MyCap is what DESE has.
Right.
DESE's kind of,
Right.
for lack of a better word, kind of partnered with MyCap.
So is
And
it
I think, and I'm sorry, and MyCap is a little bit more also geared towards middle school students.
so then is my understanding that like every student would have an account, or is it something they do with their guidance counselor, or?
So it's something they do with their guidance counselor. It would be at both the middle school and the high school. The counselors they have big caseloads, there's a ton going on, so this would be something that this position would be in charge of. So this position would really work at the middle school with the students and with our students at the high school as well.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you so much.
Just to add one quick piece of that, I think one of the things that's really important to highlight, and it's in the packet, we didn't pull it up on the screen this evening, but there is a scope and sequence of kind of career development skills. And so as we continue to look at really one seamless 6 through 12 model for our Marlboro Public School students, I think this is just one of those pathways that lays out very clearly what the career exposure piece of that work looks like.
And really to be able to build, again, in my brain, to build those relationships between the high school and the middle school, particularly with the person who would be running this program, but also high school students and middle school students, and building that, I think that's invaluable, and I think that would do nothing but increase both schools.
And I really like the idea of bringing it down in a more structured way to the middle school, because even though kids aren't ready to make decisions on where they want to be, for them to have dreams, like to hear about what possibilities are out there, is really powerful. So
Middle school's excited about that too, because,
So
and
excited.
again, they'll just say, we love it, it's great, it would be huge. Right now, we just can't,
Yeah.
we can't get to all of it.
Yeah.
So,
and just the money for this, we have some.
So currently, the position is a .77, which is kind of interesting. So we would move that to a 1.0. And
So is the person that's that .77 doing 3.2 somewhere else?
We
Or
would
they
bring her-
only work that
they only
many
work
hours?
that.
yes,
And does that person have capacity to expand, or you'd be looking for a new person, or? I mean, well,
I think
that's an employee issue. I
Okay.
probably shouldn't bring that up, but we have the funding for it. Okay.
That's a yes.
yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
So, love it, absolutely love it. We've been needing to do something about pushing it down and getting the middle school involved for a while. I love that you're bringing in more around career. That's something that we've had a lot of discussion, and especially if you look at the information that Esmer provided with a 30.2 that's
Yeah.
looking for employment. We
have to get them ready.
We have to understand our population. Now, on the other side, we've already had some wonderful times where we've had kids come in that had some of the internships, and I can't get the exact name, but like she doing coding and stuff here locally. That's awesome. Great examples to be able to push, right? And great examples to be able to push out about some of the incredible college opportunities provided too. But we have to do it all.
Right.
So I fully in support here.
Thank you.
My hope is that they're working hand in hand with guidance, so that we do lay out the right programs, helps on program of studies, making sure that we're having the right things available, and partnering with VHS to fill the gaps which we may not have. But I think by pushing it down, younger, Michelle, as you were saying, we're also making sure that people actually know their choices, right? We want them to stay here at Marlboro.
Right.
We recognize there are other options, but guess what? You've got them all here. So fantastic.
And I'm glad you mentioned program of studies, just because actually we had a conversation about that this afternoon. That's going to be something that we're going to take a pretty deep dive at this year.
It really needs to be.
Yeah.
I don't want to be reactionary. We've talked about not necessarily crossing off all kinds of options, but it's what can we bolster, right?
Yeah.
And the EMT program, that's been a good push. It's been a great pathway option. And having those opportunities, which, partnering with MEDC, fantastic. We just have to do more of it as best as we can to make sure that we're meeting our population. So it's great.
Yes.
Thank you.
That was the perfect segue to that, because this is all part of that master plan, which is to go in front of the MEDC, I think at the December meeting, and Steve and our career specialists will be present for exactly that conversation, Catherine, about how do we expand and start partnering a lot closer with more businesses in the city. There's so many opportunities right here.
And I met with them this summer, and the woman whose name escapes me said, "What do you want?" And I just said, "Everything you have.
Yeah. Well,
What
and
you can give me."
the other thing too, which our community, I think, has been phenomenal. I just made up a word. Phenomenal about offering positions, internships, jobs for unified students as well. We just need to push that more. How many families would love to have opportunities for their kids to be able to have a job here past their time in school, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. We just got to do more of it, but it sounds great.
Anything else?
I appreciate the scope and sequence, because it kind of brings it to life, how operationally does all this work? So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'm actually going to ask Steve to stay at the podium because, as you've kind of sensed a little bit of a theme this evening, we're going to continue to showcase the work of the high school, but we're going to take a little bit of a different approach and talk a bit about the middle to high school transition strategy. While there may be multiple choices in this city for secondary education, there is only one really good choice, and that's here. And so, Steve, if you want to talk a little bit about some of the transition work that you've been doing with Whitcomb, that'd be great.
Yeah, so for me, a lot of it is, let's get them in the building. And what we've done up till now is we did our open house / curriculum night a little bit different. We had students there, which always makes it better. We had athletic tables so they could learn what we offer athletically. All the clubs had tables set up in the third kind of foyer. We had one of our 6 musical groups playing. A tool, they had their robot up there doing demonstrations.
Awesome.
We also had guidance counselors in the science lecture hall there for kind of college, post-high school questions. We had some admin assistants in the library helping parents with Naviance and everything else they need to log into. So it was a little bit different of a feel, plus parents could still meet their teachers. And I put that out to 8th grade families, and I know that that Mrs. House did the same thing kind of on her end. And I asked for a grade 8 parent that permission and Thrillshare to be able to email them. So that went really well. We probably had about 70 people who were there with me doing my presentation. And then people were coming in throughout the course of the night. Really good feedback from the parents. We had a volleyball game going on that night too, which was cool. So I felt really good about the turnout. Based on what I've kind of heard in the past with the turnout is, I felt really good about the turnout. I had a few 8th grade parents ask me questions, which was great. So I feel like that was really awesome for us to do. We had, in the arts hallway, we kind of had everybody do some displays up where people could see it when they walk into the foyer. So that was really awesome. Then I also presented at the middle school open house the other night. And again, I got some parents that grabbed me after, and I've got some emails from parents asking questions. So I think that, that's what I was hoping to get out of that. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Tomorrow and Friday, we have the 8th grade coming down for tours. And one of the things we're trying to do is when we do, I'm going to talk to them. They really don't want to listen to me, which is fine. We're trying to make it more student-centered. So we have a group of students that come and kind of talk about their experience at Marlboro, kind of what they do, and we're all doing different things at the high school. So we're going to do that. We'll have half the 8th grade tomorrow and then half on Friday. We have a November pep rally right before Thanksgiving. We're going to invite the 8th graders to that. We are then going to the middle school on October 30th to present to the 8th grade, and that'll be kind of much like the SEP at open house. I'm bringing students from every area we have at the high school, so they can talk to the students about that. So we're really, Angela and I have really had a lot of conversations about this. She's also going to come down tomorrow for the tour, so we're really trying to partner to see what can we do. We mentioned that we have the events on Saturday, and I think one's on a Thursday for the community. I have a videographer teacher who's going to start making kind of promo videos in his class about Marlboro High School, and I talked to the cable company folks, and they said if you send us the videos, we'll put them on a loop. So we're gonna try to get that off and running pretty soon. So we're just, as much as we can throw out about what's going on at the high school, I think the better we're going to be. We do have the hashtag ChooseMHS, which is going to start showing up on stuff. We just got 330 new T-shirts, and it's on the back of the T-shirts. So it's just kind of that push that I want people to hear what's going on at the high school, to be able to have opportunities to come into the high school and see what we offer. Because I think, to be honest with you, I think even a lot of families that have current students don't necessarily know everything that we offer at the high school.
Sure.
So that's going to really kind of be a push for us moving forward. And then anything else that we can think of, I'm happy to do.
So one of the things that I had thought about in terms of how can we get the school district, I mean, obviously we're focusing on the high school, but the district in general, to be more integral in the day-to-day life of the city of Marlboro. I mean, unless you have kids in the schools, most people have no idea what's going on. I guarantee if you went out sometime and asked 10 people what Aki Runo is, not one person will know. It is our sister city in Japan, and we have an exchange program with them. We have a sister city in Japan that has Marlboro Street, a street named after us. I mean, there are so many aspects of what we do in this district that no one knows about.
I think
so this is a really great way. But another thing that I was thinking in this vein is when we have musical performances, when we have plays, when we have things that we're, showcasing, bringing other people in, inviting people from the senior center, sending out invitations to the whole community. I mean, sometimes it's be careful what you wish for. We have to have the capacity to have room for everyone. But I feel like that there are so many things that even the general population, not just the school adjacent population, could be involved with if we invited them into our schools more.
And I think part of that's also, for the high school at least, with our students, me and other people, is getting out into the community and doing those things. This is why I think some of these career opportunities and internship opportunities, I think that speaks to that very much. And having the community coffees that we're going to have, I think it's really getting out there and just, this is who we are. Yeah. And we represent your city, so you should know what's going on here.
Yeah, agreed.
Yes.
So compliments to you, because immediately you were at the parade, the Labor Day parade.
Yeah.
You were out there getting FaceTime. which was great. I actually had multiple parents that immediately said something to me,
Good.
which is great.
It's fun.
You know, and that is all part of it, right? It's getting there in front of them. I'm thinking that you're probably still continuing to do, getting down to the elementary with like some of the Walking Wednesdays and things like that that have happened. If not, that's also a great thing to start getting down there, because you get the FaceTime, the little kids get to see like, you know, the robotics group. They get to see the athletes. They get to see what's going on from the musical standpoint. And it does get that fervor. I just ran into one of the kids that's involved in like the drama and musical programs, and she shared with me that their numbers are up so huge that I think for dessert theater, they're talking about like 3 different plays, which they haven't done in a long time. I just think that speaks to kind of like the undercurrent, and it's great. So keep it going, and the more that we can reach down so that we get all that excitement and just keep on pushing them up, and they are going to choose MHS.
That's right. Happy to do it.
We good? Thank you. Take one more, yeah?
Yep, we're going to keep it for the
them
hat
one
trick
more.
here.
Let's keep
Right,
going.
and so I hope our
Getting our
family and
money's worth.
friends listening at home are thinking there really is only one choice, and that's Marlboro High School. Steve, do you want to share a little bit with the school committee and the community about our advanced placement scholars? We have some incredible results, and we may have a friend at the table who
We may.
will be acknowledged.
So very excited. Based on scores last year, we have 46 AP scholars, which is, in my experience, that's a huge number. And I've been places that are bigger, and we didn't have those numbers. And I'm going to also give a shout out to NHS at the induction ceremony a couple weeks ago. We have 120 kids in NHS. That is exponentially higher than I've seen in other places I've been. So I think it's huge. Just so, because you all have the list, just so you understand AP Scholar and kind of what that means. If you're an AP Scholar, you scored a 3 or higher on 3 or more AP exams. If you're an AP Scholar with honors, you received an average score of at least 3.25 on all AP exams taken and scores of 3 or higher on 4 or more of them. So essentially you're scoring 3 or 4 on like 5 or 6 AP tests, which is incredible. If you're an AP Scholar with distinction, you scored an average of 3.5 or higher on 5 or more exams. And we had 8 of those students. So, I mean, we're really proud of these numbers. It's huge. It speaks to what's going on in the high school, the teaching, the learning, everything that's going on. So we're very, very proud. And we would like to recognize those students now, and Dr. Skaza is going to read the names.
So from the class of 2026, starting off with our AP Scholar, Lucas Abendanzio, Elise Allen, AP Scholar, Nicholas Andrade, AP Scholar, Jason Batista, AP Scholar with honor, Jessica Cardosa, AP Scholar, Steve Falco, AP Scholar, Mariana Figueredo, AP Scholar, Isaac Lattis, AP Scholar, Madison Leith, AP Scholar, Riley McEwen, AP Scholar with distinction, Atul Mador, AP Scholar with distinction, Skylar Monahan, AP Scholar with honor, Angeles Munoz Velasquez, AP Scholar, Mariana Oliveira, AP Scholar, Shayla Ramon, AP Scholar, and Edgar Exante Gomez, AP Scholar with honor. And now, from the class of 2025, Michael Antwi Ayim, AP Scholar with distinction, Alicia Arojo Gerargue, AP Scholar with honor, Carly Bamford, AP Scholar, Catalina Cartez, AP Scholar, Nicholas Cerrone, AP Scholar with distinction, Amelia Cunliffe, AP Scholar, Nicholas De Silva, AP Scholar with honor, Megan Douglas, AP Scholar, Leticia Figueredo, AP Scholar, Gregory Fisher, AP Scholar, Sarah Garner, AP Scholar. Dane Garson, AP Scholar with distinction. Jocelyn Gramajo, AP Scholar. Patrick Haviland, AP Scholar. Adelaide Johnson, AP Scholar. Eric Niesler, AP Scholar. Kylie Lombardi, AP Scholar. Yamaris Lopez, AP Scholar. Colton Mercandante, AP Scholar with honor. Christopher Moe, AP Scholar. Andrew Name, AP Scholar. Raquel Nascimento, AP Scholar. Camille Patel, AP Scholar. Morgan Politis, AP Scholar with honor. Danielle Pontes, AP Scholar. Leo Wren, AP Scholar with distinction. Andrew Ruiz, AP Scholar. Craig Sanyo, AP Scholar with honor. Dong Ton, AP Scholar with distinction. And finally, Andy Zhang, AP Scholar with distinction. Congratulations to the class of 2025.
So if I could just recap a couple things, because I think it's really important. We talk about our 46 AP scholars, 364 AP exams taken, 20 AP courses offered at Marlborough High School, 120 National Honor Society students just inducted, 39 different levels of varsity and JV athletics, 4 other honor societies, and 30 plus clubs and activities. To me, this is a no-brainer. And Marlborough doesn't have school choice, unfortunately, but I would bring my son here without hesitation. The high school has incredible, incredible opportunities for its students. So any families that are tuning in, if you've left us, you should come back. Come back in. And if you're looking at other options, I think there's really only one choice.
And I do want to, I put out to, when I went to the middle school open house, and somebody from another school has already reached out. If you have questions about the high school, call me, email me, come meet with me. If you want a tour of the building, let me know. We'll give you a tour of the building. I have 6 kids coming from a charter school that live in Marlborough. They're middle schoolers that ask for a tour. Come take a tour. So we're happy to accommodate people with that.
And we have our 2 coffee and conversations already set up. The first is on a Saturday, October 25th, at the Marlborough Public Library. What time, Esmer?
9:30.
And it will be myself, Mrs. House, and Mr. Serpina. And then this will be in the newsletter that goes out tomorrow. And then 10 to 11. And then we have a second one on Thursday, the 30th. And I think that's at 4:30 to 5:30? At 5:30. So it will be in the newsletter that goes out the first of every month.
Okay. Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So kind of zooming out to more of a macro perspective, you have in your packets this evening an updated organizational structure for Marlborough Public Schools. A critical component of our district's success is ensuring that we maintain the right positions to meet the evolving needs of our work. The updated organizational chart does not have new positions in it, but it does, actually I strike that. I think there is one. I think it's the literacy director, but that was a humanities. I think we had changed that. But the organizational chart looks very different than what our current organizational structure is. You will notice that in this organizational chart, the students are at the top. And just underneath that are our building educators and student support staff. You'll notice that on our draft organizational chart, the school committee, the superintendent, we're at the bottom. And this chart flows upwards. And while it might seem just simply symbolic, it's actually quite significant because it is, in fact, how we have restructured the way we work in MPS. The idea is that each level is there to lift and support the level above it, with ultimately the students being at the very top of our chart, essentially being lifted and supported by all of those levels beneath them. And I would also highlight that the building educators and support staff are just underneath that, because all of these services, all of these supports that we have in place, all of the positions and all the finances that the school committee has allocated to the school system is in support of helping those that are in front of our students be as successful as they can be to help our students meet and exceed their potential. And so while this organizational structure may look and feel very different, it is in fact aligned directly with our purpose and our mission of our work, which is to lift and lead the operation that sits on top of us.
Okay. Good.
And a quick update on our strategic plan in Portrait of a Learner. Since our last meeting, I've reached out to 3 different vendors for proposals. And we are expecting to hear back from them on Friday. We did receive one proposal today from one of the vendors, so we are excited about that. And we will be bringing in one of the, or possibly many of the vendors to a school committee meeting in October, so you can hear a bit about their work and what they're looking to do with us as we kind of venture into this next iteration of our strategic plan and developing a PK to 12 portrait of a learner. So that work is progressing really well, and we are very excited about our next steps there. And then the last item for me is just a very quick personnel update from Mrs. Brown.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. So I'll give you an update on where we are with open positions right now. So we saw the organizational structure. If the community is listening today and you want to come and join our organization, we do have some open positions available. So we have 6 teacher positions that are open. We have 2 behavior technician positions, 4 paraeducator jobs, 4 cafeteria worker positions, 2 custodians, 2 office support positions, and 6 district education center positions, and 5 long-term substitute positions. Of the teacher positions, of the 6, we have 2 hires already in process. We do have some new positions that were added, so they did not become open because someone resigned or retired or anything. We did add a social emotional learning interventionist position, and we added an interventionist at the upper grades at Richer Elementary School. So, I'll give you an example of the turnover from the last month that I gave you an update on last time. So we had 4 cafeteria positions open the last time I was here, last month, and all of those were filled by internal candidates who moved up into additional hours. And so we have 4 new open cafeteria positions, and we already have 3 in process. Those will be external hires coming in. Of the district education center positions, 3 of them are translator positions, and we do have a hire in process for that. We have the supervisor of health services position that is still open, that was open the last time as well, an LPN position, and an HR generalist position.
What was the last one?
Human resources generalist position. And we are always hiring for substitutes, so I just want to mention that for anyone who's listening. We would love to have people join us as subs. So the total is 26 open positions at this time.
Thank you for the updates. In hearing Esmer's presentation, obviously Indeed is a primary place. Are you all utilizing other things? I know that previously we've spoken about some of the colleges that you were reaching out specifically to some of our local colleges to try and grab some folks.
Yes. Yeah, so we do go to different colleges. We go to different job fairs. So we go to Worcester State. We reach out to Holy Cross. We go to their job fair every year. Now is the time they start putting those on the calendar, the save the dates. We start receiving them now. A lot of them are in the spring for their spring graduates. But we do go to all of those as well. Esmer had talked about our LinkedIn page, and so we do post positions there, and we do regularly use Indeed. That's a common place that we go to post positions and recruit.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right,
That concludes my report.
thank you much. Moving on to Office of Teaching and Learning, Dr. Skaza.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just give me a second here while I get my 9-year-old daughter off the screen. She would love this right now. Thanks a lot, Dad. And put up the new organizational chart for the Office of Teaching and Learning, otherwise known as the OTL. So the Office of Teaching and Learning, OTL, has outlined a new system of support for the 2025-2026 school year. This revamped structure revolves around a team of support for all schools, focusing on curriculum implementation, professional development for educators and school-based leaders, intervention practices for all learners, and strong instructional practices and lesson preparation for all educators. The OTL framework is designed as follows. The whole group, which consists of content supervisors, directors, and principals, meets monthly to establish instructional priorities based on the most current data. From that meeting, and after that whole group calibration, the OTL deploys and holds weekly meetings on identified priorities with the following groups: the curriculum supervisors, the director of EL, or the directors of EL, the director of instruction and ed tech. At these meetings, we generate action plans to support principals, classroom instruction, and develop necessary PD. So we're coming together as a whole group to kind of identify where the trends are as indicated by the data, make sure we have consensus at that whole group, and then these individual groups are meeting to make sure that we have specific and systematic supports in place for each school and each school's priorities as indicated by that data. The OTL then meets in a professional learning community. This is a new format. I'm excited about this, with a number of leadership groups. This is not new. This is the same format that we used last year with the Into Reading program, where all elementary lead teachers and EL coordinators meet monthly to discuss year one implementation priorities with the new Into Math program. We have sustainability with Into Reading, and now we are launching first year implementation of Into Math. This focus is supported through a strategic advising model with TNTP. This is our third year of partnering with TNTP. They've done some good work in making sure that they're holding us accountable to sound instructional practices and providing support to our principals and our educators along the way. We then meet, and I run this PLC with assistant principals and educational team leaders who participate in bi-weekly PLCs with the Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning. Our focus is to increase the instructional leadership capacity of this group that has typically been more focused on building operations. We've had 3 meetings already. We have discussed a number of topics, and we have even taken a strategic measure to have central office folks go to the buildings, run the building, so the principal, the ETL, and the AP can get out on an instructional round and get into classrooms. We did that most recently at our high school, and I was at Kane today to help out Principal Pantazopoulos.
So just as a side note, RJ was on recess duty at Jarwick, and I was on lunch duty at the high school.
Yep. And my apologies to the 5th grade students at recess who were very upset that I disrupted their game on their football game on the recess field to teach them a few pass patterns. I couldn't help myself being a former coach. They were not happy. Grade level teams in departments led by lead teachers meet weekly in a PLC. This is at the secondary level I'm highlighting right now, to share best practices, support curriculum priorities, review student data, and identify students for intervention services. And the high school, by example, Principal Serpina just met with his group of lead teachers last week and really set the tone for what the expectations will be with those PLC meetings. Based on the review and analysis of preliminary 2025 MCAS data, the principals in the OTL have identified the following priorities as we begin the 2025-26 school year. Priority 1, writing instruction and assessment practices in the primary grades. Chris Henry and I and Chris Henry specifically, has been working very closely with the elementary principals to make sure that we have a focus of support around good writing practices in the primary grades. It's something that we haven't had a thumb on for a while now, and Chris Henry has taken steps to make sure that we're moving things in the right direction. We have found that the student output on essays and open response is not what we had hoped. It's not for lack of effort on the students' part. They're producing writing. They're not just giving up or writing I don't know or I don't care. They are producing an essay or a response. They're just missing the mark on some of the technicalities of the writing when it comes to conventions or idea development, and we're going to tighten that all up. So next time around, they will get more points and increased output and production on the essay and the open response. Secondly, co-taught ELA classes in grades 6, 7, and 8, including EL beginners, level 1 and 2 EL students with both the ELA and EL teacher. Our EL directors, our director of instruction and ed tech, our literacy supervisor and principal House have taken immediate steps to get this structure up in place. And while we've hit a couple bumps in the road, we are progressing. We've been in multiple classrooms routinely. Principal House and that team are going out on a weekly basis to get in and support those teachers in their co-teaching efforts. And so far, we've been very pleased with the effort, and we think with routine and continued practice, we're going to see very strong outcomes for all of our students, in particular our EL beginners, as they are for the first time in an ELA classroom at the middle school level. Priority number 3, a roadmap toolbox that contains resources for all educators specific to high expectations, student ownership and discourse, high quality feedback, and lesson design. I meet tomorrow with the curriculum supervisors and Chris Henry to go over some of those supports those resources that we want to have in that toolbox, if you will. So all educators, pre-K through 12, have easy access right at their fingertips to resources that directly impact and support those priority areas as indicated by the roadmap. Moving on, the second year of, it's actually the first full year of implementation. Year 1 was a pilot year, so it's technically the first year of structured literacy, which is the phonics program with the Into Reading program. Formerly, we were using Foundations. So our first year of structured literacy, foundational literacy practices in our elementary schools, Jen Ryan has taken steps to make sure that we are all trained, teachers are ready to go in grades K1 and 2. And I would also like to thank our reading teachers who did a great job in training all of our grade 1 and 2 K1 and 2 teachers in the structured literacy protocols. It was a quick training right at the beginning of the year, and it had everyone positioned well to hit the ground running when school started. And then finally, active learning practices at Marlboro High School. Principal Serapina, Chris Henry, and I have recognized there's a lot of screen dependency. There's a lot of Google Classroom that continues post-COVID. We are looking to increase the engagement in the active learning as opposed to passive learning with screen time in our high school classrooms. So we've discussed what this could look like. We've already gotten into classrooms to get a baseline and a gauge on how it presents currently, and we're going to take some measures to spice up the instruction at the high school and see if we can get that Chromebook closed down for periods and more active discourse, active learning, and collaboration amongst students in those periods. A visual of the Office of Teaching and Learning team is included in your packet. We also have it presented on the screen, similar to Dr. DeFalco's chart, which had students at the top of the org. We also do have students in learning at the top of our chart as well. So I've been meeting very closely with Dr. DeFalco. He has been extremely helpful in getting a system in place, which I have appreciated greatly, where now I am able to work with this team. The director of Ed Tech, Chris Henry, has been phenomenal. Building principles and building leadership have been tremendous. We are really starting to fire on all cylinders. Content supervisors are all synced up, and now that they are K through 12, we're positioned well. The EL directors and I have been looking at new program changes to a model that has been stuck in a traditional mold for a number of years now, so we're getting progressive in our thought. In our movement, lead teachers I can't speak enough about how valuable these positions are. These teachers are doing so much work at the leadership level with their colleagues. They're well respected, and they're getting the job done on a daily basis, and they are leading weekly PLCs, as well as our EL coordinators and our intervention coordinator, which is a new position to our richer schools specifically based on the need there. Our educators are doing a phenomenal job following the expectations for lesson prep and design and executing that in our classrooms. We've been into multiple classrooms recently with our lesson walkthrough tool, getting a quick gauge on how that presents. They are using the prep tool. It directly mirrors the lesson walkthrough tool, so they get immediate feedback on how they're applying their preparation to their lesson delivery, and the two are connecting nicely. So kudos to our teachers. And then finally, the result, if everything continues to work as it has been, is that we will see an increase in student output and achievement. So I'm very excited about this, as I think you can feel, and we're doing a great job. We have a team together, and we're working together, and I believe that we're going to see the results.
Excellent. Good.
Question-ish, like around the phonics program, how is that intertwining with like the EL groups? I mean, like, are we making sure that we're combining so the phonics program can work hand in hand with EL?
Yes, the
And that
EL
program.
students receive the phonics program in grades K1 and 2, and in grades 3, 4, and 5, we have a secondary foundational literacy skills structure where they get a program called UFLY. It's the University of Florida Literacy Institute. So in the upper grades where they do not receive phonics-based instruction, although we have English learners who are coming to us with deficits in phonics, they are still getting that foundational literacy skill from that supplemental program, which is UFLY. And all teachers have been trained, both EL and homeroom teachers, in the UFLY program in the administration.
Okay, you hit upon what my concern is that we are bringing in kids that have not had any of that higher than that foundational. So my hope is once we're really solid on it, we can push it into higher, because as we're seeing, we're getting them at all ages.
Yep.
You know, and unfortunately, if they really haven't received that phonics support, it's huge to get it to them whenever it is.
And if I can be quite frank, this is the first year where we have truly prioritized teaching reading in conjunction with teaching language acquisition.
Yeah. The other question, it's not necessarily just for you, but probably also for the conversation that we had very shortly after you had gotten here about support over the summer, and making sure that there was a lot more push of not having downtime, that there's a lot more literacy work that would be pushing over the summer. And I'm not sure that you've probably been able to dive into that, but considering what we're talking about, seems like we're going to want to keep on pushing it as hard as we can.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because one of the things that we are going to be coming to the school committee with a plan and probably an ask, but is an extended day, an extended year model for students that are going to need it. We're looking first at very specific schools, specific programs, and we will be bringing forward a comprehensive proposal to the school committee for that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Moving on, I have just a couple more updates for the school committee. The first is around our ABAR, anti-bias, anti-racism practices in the Marlborough Public School System. So our steering committee, who met this afternoon, co-chair Michelle Bodenhedinger is part of that committee. We're preparing for our next phase of professional development and priority areas for the 25-26 school year. During this phase, our work will be rooted in Zaretta Hammond's book, Culturally Responsive Teaching in the Brain. Our first training for educators is on the November 4th PD Day, and will focus on independent and dependent learners and how structures within a school system can create one or the other. Furthermore, I would like to mention that we are partnering with Dr. Chris Taylor from the Center for Behavioral Health, Equity, and Leadership in Schools at William James College. Dr. Taylor, who joined us this afternoon, will collaborate with the anti-bias, anti-racism team And initial meetings with Dr. Taylor will involve reviewing plans, providing feedback, discussing strategy, and guiding next steps. Additionally, Dr. Taylor will create materials and facilitate subsequent meetings based on planning and strategy. I will continue to provide the school committee updates on this work as we progress through the school year. And then finally, bullying prevention lessons. As a reminder, Marlborough Public Schools uses the Second Steps Bullying Prevention Unit as our elementary, middle, and high school program curriculum. Lessons associated with this program, such as understanding bullying, factors that contribute to bullying, and how to respond to and stand up to bullying in a positive way, have typically started in the month of October. I met with Lindsay Castro, and Lindsay was instrumental in making sure that this year the principals have accelerated the start of these lessons, and they began last week. Mrs. Castro and I are scheduled to visit classrooms to see bullying prevention lessons firsthand. Dr. DeFalco and Principal Serapina were able to visit a lesson in a freshman health class, and Dr. DeFalco and I were able to visit a lesson in a 4th grade elementary classroom at Jarwick. And we are very happy to see the students talking about how to recognize bullying and being an upstander rather than a bystander.
Okay. Thank you. Moving on to the Office of Student Services and Equity, Ms. O'Brien.
Thank you, Mayor Christian. So, in addition to the curriculum overview of the Marlborough Public Schools Bullying Prevention and Intervention Plan presented by Dr. Skaza, I'd like to share a few important updates with the school committee. Although the plan is not scheduled for a formal review until May 2026, the district has proactively submitted it to legal counsel to ensure compliance with any recent regulatory changes that may need to be reflected ahead of schedule. Furthermore, we've arranged for a refresher training session led by our legal counsel for the administrative team. This training will focus on best practices in bullying prevention and intervention and will take place during our administrative dinner meeting on December 1st, 2025. This training will also include guidance on compliance with regulations regarding investigating allegations of bullying. I also have a transportation update for the committee. The district continues to face significant challenges with the student transportation services provided by NRT. These include late arrivals, missed pickups, delays in drop-offs, and technical issues with student data transmission. These disruptions have impacted student learning and family routines. Key issues that have been identified include service quality. NRT has not met district expectations despite repeated communications regarding unresolved routing issues and missed pickups. They have, there's technical failures. There's been problems with NRT's routing system, and data imports processes have delayed registrations for newly enrolled students. There's been data transmission breakdowns that, although there's verified transmission process was established in the fall of 2024, NRT reported in September 2025 that they were no longer receiving student data files. Manual submissions were inconsistently processed. Routing, assignment, and delays. Despite assurances from NRT, many students were not captured in their system even after timely manual data submissions by our district. District response measures. We have implemented daily coordination meetings with NRT to track issues and improve accountability. We have implemented a centralized communication channel via buses at mps-edu.org to streamline parent concerns, and staffing enhancements to ensure timely responses to transportation inquiries. We've have established a staffing schedule to monitor that email address to respond to the parent concerns. Next steps include rebalancing the bus routes to address the overcrowding and underutilization with updated assignments communicated directly to families. We're working with NRT to resolve issues school by school. However, that is taking a long time. We've set deadlines that have continued to not be met. No changes will be implemented without prior district notification to families, although that's something that we've agreed upon. There have been changes and stops that have been implemented without notifying us and without us being able to provide that communication to families. And we have a launch of a GPS tracking app for parents that's anticipated mid-October of 2025 is the anticipation date of that, which would help resolve some of those miscommunications as far as late buses and parents being able to track where those buses are. The district remains committed to resolving these issues and ensuring safe, timely transportation for all students. Advocacy with NRT will continue until services meet the standards expected by our community. Before I go on to my second part of my report, does anybody have any questions about transportation?
I got a comment. Thank you for the information, first of all. So, I'm sure you're probably expecting none of us are pretty happy about it. I'm sure that you're really pretty not happy about it. I know that you all have been working really, really hard. So there is not a doubt from me that you guys have not been doing all you can to try and get NRT on track. It is completely unacceptable that they are not meeting their contract. We all voiced concern, but we had to follow the bid process. I'm reiterating this again, just so we're all on the same page. And they had done a better job leading up to the bid. Because we all remember when we had the driver strike and we all went out there with our little yellow vests and our stop signs all trying to help. Lots of people got out there to help. This is just unacceptable. I know you all know that. I'm publicly saying it so that you can once again let them know that the school committee will once again continue to say NRT is not doing their job. It is not acceptable that kids are not arriving to school on time. And when we are talking about kids needing their foundation, NRT is causing the problems. They are not getting the kids to school so that they can do what their job is in front of having the teachers to teach them. So please express my dissatisfaction with their service. And I appreciate that you all have been documenting this really, really closely so that our attorneys can know exactly what's going on. This is not okay. They better get their acts together. This community and every single student from the top of that org chart deserves much better. It's embarrassing, and it better be embarrassing for them. I appreciate the drivers that have done due diligence to try and help when they are put in circumstances of not being provided GPS to get them on track, to fill in. We all know that we're all human. We all have days that we are off, but they better have backup systems in case. Whenever I'm doing my job as a producer, the person next to me better know exactly what my job is so that they can fill in, which means me doing my job of making sure that they are set for success. NRT better get set for success. This is not acceptable. And again, this is nothing towards you. Please feel free to share my thoughts, and if they want to talk to me, I'd be more than happy to sit down and have a conversation. This is an embarrassment. Their company should be embarrassed at the way that they have handled things, and they better get on track.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to reiterate, the superintendent did meet today, so we are making the proper steps to continue NRT accountable. So there is a game plan. We're working through that. We won't share that publicly just because we're still talking to outside counsel, but things are moving along to hold the accountability for NRT.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Sure.
Thank you. And similar to Dr. Skaza, I would like to present to the school committee an organizational chart for the Office of Student Services. I have that included in your packet, and I have that presented up on the monitor. Slightly different, though, it's presented with buckets with categories versus personnel. So the Office of Student Services exists to ensure that all students, regardless of background, ability, or circumstance, can fully access learning in the classroom. We work to identify and reduce non-academic barriers that interfere with student success while also providing specialized support and services for students with disabilities. Through collaboration with families, educators, and community partners, we strive to create inclusive, supportive environments where every student can thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. The Office of Student Services has an interconnected departmental structure with interdisciplinary collaboration. Monthly individual meetings between the Assistant Superintendent and department leaders, including the Director of Special Education, Supervisor of Social Emotional Learning, SEL, and Supervisor of Health Services, when we have one, foster alignment across specialized areas. These leaders also participate in monthly attendance meetings alongside school adjustment counselors, nurses, wraparound coordinators, and representatives from individual schools, reinforcing a shared commitment to student well-being and educational stability. Collaboration extends through structured departmental meetings. The Director of Special Education holds monthly meetings with educational team leaders, one of which includes the Assistant Superintendent, ensuring strategic oversight and consistency. Educational team leaders, in turn, lead monthly meetings with their school-based special education staff, creating a feedback loop that supports continuous improvement. Related service providers also meet bi-monthly with the Director of Special Education to discuss best practices and service delivery consistency. The Early Childhood Education Center benefits from monthly joint meetings involving the Assistant Superintendent, Director of Special Education, and the Preschool Education Team Leader, ensuring early intervention strategies are aligned with district-wide goals. And actually, something that is not included in here that I did neglect to put in here is that Dr. Scassa also has started meeting regularly with the director of the Early Childhood Center as well to loop in curriculum as well. I will make sure that I add that in. Supervisors of health services and SEL provide ongoing supervision and monthly meetings with school nurses, school adjustment counselors, and wraparound coordinators who are embedded in individual schools and participate in weekly student support meetings with building administrators. These interdisciplinary touch points ensure that academic, social-emotional, and health-related supports are seamlessly integrated into the daily lives of students. Special education. The special education team provides individualized supports to students with disabilities through a collaborative network of professionals. Led by the Director of Special Education, the team includes educational team leaders, BCBAs, school psychologists, special education teachers, related service providers, paraeducators, and behavior technicians. These staff members work across MPS schools as well as out-of-district special education programs to ensure that students receive the services and accommodations they need to succeed. Within the Early Childhood Education Center, led by the Director of Early Childhood and the Preschool Education Team Leader, provides the inclusive, high-quality early learning experiences for all preschool-age children. The center ensures that preschoolers with disabilities receive the support and services they need in an inclusive setting, fostering development alongside their typically developing peers. In addition, the center offers a strong foundation for all preschoolers, equipping them with the academic, social, and emotional skills necessary for a successful transition into kindergarten. Through collaboration with families and community partners, the Early Childhood Education Center promotes equity, readiness, and lifelong learning. Social-emotional learning. Social-emotional learning is led by the Supervisor of Social-emotional Learning and supported by school adjustment counselors at each school. This team focuses on fostering emotional well-being, resilience, and positive relationships among students. Through targeted interventions and school-wide initiatives, SEL staff help create safe and supportive learning environments that promote student engagement and mental health. Health and Wellness is led by the Supervisor of Health Services, who oversees school nurses and licensed practical nurses, or LPNs, including those who accompany special needs students on transportation. The Health and Wellness Department plays a critical role in supporting students and families by facilitating access to immunizations and physicals and general health care. This ensures that students are healthy and ready to learn, contributing to their overall well-being and academic success. The Educational Stability Team, led by the Assistant Superintendent of Student Services and Equity, who also serves as the district's McKinney-Vento liaison, foster care point of contact, and attendance intervention team lead, ensures that vulnerable student populations have equitable, consistent access to education. This includes supporting students experiencing homelessness and those in foster care through coordinated enrollment, transportation, and trauma-informed services, while also addressing chronic absenteeism through cross-departmental collaboration, proactive outreach, and connection to resources. The Office of Student Supports provides comprehensive family support to ensure that all families are welcomed, informed, and connected to resources that promote student success. The Registration and Parent Outreach Center serves as a welcoming hub for families enrolling in the district, offering guidance, support, and connections to both school and community resources. To ensure effective communication between families and school staff, the Translators and Interpreter Call Center provides translation and interpretation services in multiple languages. Additionally, wraparound service coordinators work collaboratively with families and schools and community partners to address non-academic barriers, connect families to essential services, and support overall student well-being. Transportation services play a vital role in ensuring equitable access to education for all students. The Offices of Student Services coordinates transportation for students with disabilities attending both in-district and out-of-district special education programs, ensuring that individual education programs requirements are met. Additionally, transportation is provided for students experiencing homelessness under the McKinney-Vento Act and for students in foster care in alignment with federal and state mandates. These services are designed to promote educational stability and reduce barriers for consistent school attendance. Other department oversight, the Office of Student Services is responsible for the strategic oversight and coordination of federal and state entitlement grants, including IDEA, McKinney-Vento, and program improvement. The department collaborates with district leadership to ensure, the coffee is wearing off, I am so sorry, to ensure efficient allocation of funds that directly support student programming and equity initiatives. Responsibility includes managing circuit breaker claims and Medicaid reimbursement processes to maintain fiscal stability and maximize available resources. The department also leads efforts to expand wraparound services, develop summer programming for at-risk students, and ensure equitable access to essential resources such as food, clothing, and health care. Through data-driven planning and interdepartmental collaboration, the department ensures that grant-funded initiatives align with district goals and meets the diverse needs of all students. Data systems. The Office of Student Services includes strategic oversight and supervision of the data systems and analyst team to ensure the effective collection, management, and utilization of student data across the district. This involves aligning data practices with district goals for equity, inclusion, and student support services while fostering collaboration between analysts and program leaders to drive data-informed decision-making. The Assistant Superintendent provides leadership in prioritizing data integrity and compliance with privacy regulations. In collaboration with the Office of Teaching and Learning, the data team develops systems that support early intervention, progress monitoring, and continuous improvement. Through regular guidance and performance evaluation, the team is empowered to deliver actionable insights that enhance educational outcomes and supports the district's mission. Thank you.
Thank you. You good?
I actually have one question. Back to your first topic about the bullying prevention and intervention plan. have we kind of scrubbed all of our our documents that families connect with to make sure that all the data is accurate? Phone numbers that they need to call and staff people that they need to reach if they have issues?
That's what we're currently doing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your report. Moving on. Acceptance of minutes. Minutes of the school committee meeting September 9th, 2025.
Motion to approve the minutes of September 9th, 2025.
Motion's on the table and seconded. Is there any questions, comments, or concerns regarding the minutes from September 9th? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. The minutes are accepted. Thank you. Okay, moving on to public comment. Is there anyone for a public comment going once? Anything regarding a public comment going twice? Okay, she is leaving. No public comment there. Okay. It's a very interesting time to leave. All right. If you're at home, someone just left. So public comment going for the third and final time. Any other public comment? Seeing none, I close the public comment portion of the agenda. Moving on to action items. Updated 2025 and 2026 MPS organizational chart that we just talked about earlier in this meeting.
Move to approve.
Move to approve is on the table and seconded. Is there any questions, comments, or concerns regarding the organizational chart? Will we support and lift our students up? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries, so that is approved. Thank you. Expanded hours for MHS career specialists was also talked about earlier today.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve is on the table and seconded. Is there any questions, comments, or concerns to move the .77 to a full-time 1.0? Questions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. That is approved. Thank you very much. Next up is a Massachusetts Association School Committee official delegate.
Do you want to do it? All right. Okay. All right. Move to delegate Catherine Hennessy as the delegate.
Delegate Catherine Hennessy be a delegate.
Yes. And do you want to be the alternate?
Sure.
Dan Caruso as alternate.
Motion is on table to nominate Ms. Hennessy as a delegate and Mr. Caruso as an alternate. Is seconded. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you.
One aside, can you get that information to Tammy so she
Yep,
can
well, we'll fill
send
out
the
that
form out? Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you for being our delegate. And thank you for the congrats on the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yes.
Correct? Yes. So we're very honored for that. You're welcome. More to discuss when that actually happens in November. So, all right. But moving on. Massachusetts Association School Committee resolutions.
Move to table.
Move to table is seconded. Questions, comments, or concerns as to why we're tabling, just for the viewing public?
So it was a little confusing. Usually there are multiple resolutions, this delegate and resolutions just for the public. The Massachusetts Association of School Committees annual conference in November takes up a lot of resolutions to help guide the organization in their advocacy efforts for the year. Usually there are multiple new resolutions. I had to get some clarification on exactly what the situation was, which I now have, but I didn't have it in time for the meeting. So we will take those up. There, just so everyone knows, when you look at your delegate manual, there's one new resolution. All of the other ones are previous resolutions that, by the bylaws of the organization, are set to sunset after 3 years, and the delegate assembly will vote as to whether to let them sunset because it's not a focus of advocacy anymore, or to re-up those efforts.
Excuse me.
So that's what we'll be voting to inform the delegate on how to vote at the delegate assembly. but we'll do that at the next meeting. The conference is not until the second week of November, so we have time.
Hopefully that clears things up for people at home. So moving forward to...
We have to vote to table.
I was just going to second that.
Sorry.
So motion is on the table to table the Massachusetts Association School Committee resolutions, and it's seconded. So there's no more further questions, comments, or concerns, so all in favor of tabling. Motion carries to table the school committee resolutions. Thank you very much. Moving on to acceptance of donations and gifts. So if you bear with me so I can pull that up. That is number 8. Going so quickly, I wasn't prepared. Okay, there we are. Quite a few of them on the agenda today, so we'll move forward. Yes, thank you. All right, Princeton Green residents for backpacks and school supplies for Kane students for $500.
Motion to approve
Motion.
with gratitude.
Okay. Motion to approve and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all in favor. Motion carries. Thank you, Princeton Green. Anna Julia Barbosa for backpacks and school supplies for Kane students for a monetary value of $600.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve is second on the table. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all in favor. Motion carries. Thank you, Anna. Moving on to Donors Choose Special Education Classroom Essentials, donated goods for about $180.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve is on the table in second. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all in favor. Motion carries. Thank you very much. So Title I, entitlement grants through DESI Grants Management Systems for $1,184,220.
Motion to approve.
Say that again. $1,184,220. There we go.
Motion to
Motion to
approve.
approve is on the table and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all in favor. Thank you much. We're just not used to that dollar amount, so
Right, I know.
which is a great thing. Title IIA grant, entitlement grants through DESI Grants Management Systems, $140.
No.
$146,677. $140,677. I didn't have your
Motion
copies.
to approve.
It's trickling. $140,677.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns? All in favor? Motion carries. Title III grant, entitlement grants through DESI, $231,901.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Title IV grant, entitlement grants through DESI Grants, $88,670.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Fiscal year 26 FC 240 IDEA, the IDEA entitlement grant through DESI, $1,610,970.
Motion to approve.
To approve and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. We are almost done. 1, 2, 3, 4 more. FC 262 IDEA Early Childhood Entitlement Grant Award by DESI, $70,959.
Motion to approve.
To approve and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Fiscal year 26 Community Foundation for Metro West Grant for needs of homeless students and families, $17,525.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Early College Support Grant, designated early college program support for $80,000.
Motion to approve.
To approve is on the table and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. And last but certainly not least, Targeted Assistant Grant for Implementation of Educational Needs for $40,000
Motion to approve.
is on the table and seconded. Questions, comments, and concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you very much for your patience with all of that. A lot of money coming into the district, which is always a great thing. Moving on to reports of school committee subcommittees. Ms. Hennessy.
So the policy subcommittee meeting that we had last Thursday, very good. We're moving and getting a few things done that Desi has asked specifically that we needed to tackle. Some things teasing out from the our graduation requirements that we need to really spell out about our competency section and kind of move that out. And we're creating that, and a lot of great collaboration around that. We're talking about pathways, and we have a CTE discussion, so it's a career technology. Thank you. That thing, whatever. So we're working on kind of moving that out. It's really explaining about a lot of different options, very similar to what we were talking about, choosing MHS, that we've got a lot of options here, but obviously making sure that pathways are known for all of our students in the community of their choice options. And we're also doing some work on just updating around social media, our internet acceptable use, things like that. And also just taking a look at our wellness policy, if you will, how we're handling that, really talking about with the program of studies, making sure we're meeting our Mass Core requirements as necessary, on making sure we're all set. So we'll have another follow-up meeting next week, because we're trying to meet some timelines. You'll see some policies then coming before you within the next couple of meetings. Okay? Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else for reports of school committee subcommittee? Seeing none. Moving on to members forum.
Atul would like to speak.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's hear it.
Sounds good. Next week at Marlboro High School is Spirit Week, which is the famous Spirit Week we always have, full of celebrations and full of friendly competition between grades. And at the end of it, it's a big, fun, spirit games between all the grades, and that kind of determines who the winner is. But throughout the week, you'll see different themes students have to dress up as, and those are winner every week, so you can keep updated on points and different kind of fun stuff going on.
Okay.
And then homecoming is the week after, on that weekend of the 18th.
Okay. Sounds exciting. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? No warrant?
Warrant?
Good?
Warrant?
No? Okay. Okay. Anything else for members forum? Okay. If there's nothing else, it's the
Move to adjourn.
move to adjourn is on the table. Any questions, comments, or concerns about adjourning? Seeing none, all in favor? We are adjourned at 9:12. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.